This is the 5-year-old Leica Q2 Monochrome, but Leica just released the Leica Q3 Monochrome, so yeah, this is still the Q2. I just wanted to try that fun effect in DaVinci Resolve. Full disclosure, same as usual. I bought my own gear and no one is paying me for this video. Once again, there's chapters down here, so you have the option to pick and choose how much you want to watch. Well, let's go back to the recording studio. Yeah! As promised in my first video on photographing the band Lujani in the Vibe Factory recording studio in Copenhagen, I'm now making a separate video about the monochrome photos I took. In the first video, I talked a lot about a new lens and the photos I took with it, but I was also very determined on spending time using only my Leica Q2 Monochrome. It was also way easier to carry this fairly small camera around when moving compared to this jumbo combo. The whole recording studio environment is very suitable for monochrome photography. The somewhat chaotic and rough interior looks really cool in black and white. I spent almost 3 full days with Lujani in the recording studio, and whilst they and Jacob, the owner of the studio and producer, were working very hard, I had plenty of time to just slow down and observe and plan my photos. If you're interested, you can watch much. You can see or learn much more about the progress of recording an album in my first video. I also took my time to play around with the monochrome camera. I got a lot of nice shots and I tried to push its limits. This is a photo at ISO 12,500. This is one at ISO 25,000. And one at 50,000. And finally this at ISO 100,000. It's a bit grainy, but still usable. Some might not like the look, but I do. My Sony cameras can do many things, but not a low-light image like that. Jacob, who was hard at work doing all the mixing, frequently went out for a bit of a fresh air, and a couple of times I joined him to get some daylight photos. We talked a bit about his recording studio and how he got into the whole business. He told me how he went all in as just a teenager, dreaming of working with all the big names. The dream did come true, but it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns. Jacob has had some major struggles, but it was inspiring to hear his story about how he got through it all. However, it makes you feel a bit rude, and it takes some audacity to place a camera between you and a person telling you something deeply personal. But Jacob is used to the cameras and understood my role and accepted my intentions. And the story behind the photos really adds an extra level. The first evening, the recordings ended quite late, so we were all tired and mostly felt like getting some rest. But we couldn't decide what to do, so we just started walking towards our sleeping quarters. It was less than 5 kilometers, but it ended up as a bit of a pub crawl, and I documented our trek.
Skærmen på begge sider. Sindssygt, der er skærm på begge sider. Sindssygt, der er skærm på begge sider. Det fatter man ikke.
I don't really feel like a Lenny Kravitz hipster kind of type, even when carrying a Leica camera. So when I was in the bars photographing, I did feel the need to tell the people whose attention I caught what a middle-aged, very ordinary white dad type of guy was doing there with a camera. You know, photographing the band. But that did get me talking with several people, for example, Anders and Christopher. Well, we all got talking, and I even took some photos of them that I also mailed them the next day. That was what we here in Denmark call hygge, or hyggeligt. I love that. Getting to know new people and having a great talk, and in this case, it was actually the Leica that helped with that. In that bar named Halvvejen or Halfway, I took this photo of Lucas, and I really like it. The paintings in the background, a beer glass in the lower left obscuring a bit, and Lucas in the middle toasting. There wasn't a lot of light. From the left side, there's a bit of light coming from the bar, but on the right side, it's nothing but an almost burned down candle lighting everything up. It's at ISO 25,000 and it's still incredibly clean. The low-light capabilities of the Leica Monochrome cameras are just impressive. I admit the photo has a bit of a Stanley Kubrick kind of vibe to it, but Lucas is really one of the nicest people I've met. Towards the end of our odyssey, we came up with a very original idea. A 4-person boy band in a pedestrian crossing. We named the photo Happy Road, and we're convinced it has never been seen before. We got to the apartment of Carl August's parents, which we had borrowed, and after a short talk and a little snack, we went to bed. Next morning, I wasn't hungover, but I was still glad I didn't have to perform constantly the whole day. It's quite dark now here in Denmark. The days are shorter than 8 hours, but it's also the perfect time to play around in the dark with your camera. I like to experiment with the shutter speed in low light, but I'm also becoming more focused on just taking one camera and one lens with me. I recently watched an inspiring YouTube video from Daily Mail World about photojournalist Jonathan Alpery. He's a conflict photographer with almost 25 years of experience, and he only uses one camera and one lens.
The lens is where you want to spend your money. The body, you can pick and choose what you want.
The lens he's using is the 50mm f1.2, and if he can do such a great job with only one lens, an upstart like me probably doesn't need a dozen or more. I don't know if I'll end up with a Leica Q with an attached lens or some other brand with an interchangeable lens. It's probably not going to be just a single lens and camera, but my goal is to spend less time thinking about gear and focusing more on the creative part of photography. You should watch the whole video with Jonathan Alpery, and I'll make sure to leave a link down below. As mentioned, Leica just released a Q3 monochrome. I haven't tried it. It's still a 28mm. It has 60 megapixels instead of the 47 in the Q2, but 47 megapixels is still quite a lot. The autofocus is supposedly better, which it ought to be in a newer camera, but I've never really had any issues focusing my Q2. I might do half my focusing manually and the other half I rely on the Q2 doing it for me, and it has done pretty well so far. I haven't decided whether to replace my Q2 or not. The benefits, the advantages of upgrading to a Q3 doesn't appear big enough to make me rush anything. If you're considering getting into the Leica ecosystem, now might be a good time to buy a used Q2. It will cost you a lot less than a Q3, and if you like it, you can make a qualified upgrade later. I'm also a bit uncertain whether I should stick with a wider focal range or get some reach instead. There might even be a monochrome version of the Q3 43 or the MEV1 coming up, so I'll just wait a bit and see what happens. If I do decide to switch out some of my gear, I'll let you know. It's kind of what I do here. Lujani's second album will be released in about 3 months, and I'll try to keep you updated. Meanwhile, you should check them out on your streaming service. You should also watch their first music video, which I helped them make. And there's a second coming up really soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider hitting the like button and perhaps subscribe as well. As usual, I have saved a few of my top picks to the very end, so do stick around a few moments more. See you around.
Time to climb that mountain. I'm not gonna stop till I reach the very top.